What up?
What's up? Look at
How are
this.
you?
Good. How's it going?
Oh. Sorry, Larry's gonna be a little late, but
Oh, no worries. No worries.
yeah. How the heck are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Man,
Still in Hawaii.
yeah. What a rough time. I haven't come home this year because of all this craziness.
Yeah.
I probably won't because I heard it's pretty rough up there, right? With trying to get in and then trying to get out. It can be kind of difficult.
It can get a little difficult. Yeah. You gotta I think well, obviously you gotta test when you go out, test when you come back in.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have to it's still 2-week quarantine, right? As well, wherever you go, or no?
No, not yet. So it's still it's still okay.
Yeah.
But I think you have to quarantine until you get your results.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's great.
which isn't too bad. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I would love to come home, but if I had to be stuck at home with all my nieces and nephews and stuff and just stuck in a house with them without going to, I think I'd go crazy. I love them, but man, that's a lot of people stuck in one house the whole time. But yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
understandable.
yeah. Maybe early. How's your family and everything?
Family's good.
Good.
Everyone's staying safe. Sasha's working from home. She's been working from home since I think March, since the lockdown. And then our oldest son, he's in school.
Mm-hmm.
But there's only eight in his class, so it's not too bad.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad.
He's 5. So
Wow.
and then our youngest, we decided not to put him in because he's still 2. He's gonna be 3, but
Yeah.
we decided not to put him in. It's like, well, no need. We can wait.
Yeah,
So
that's true. That's very true. Wow. I mean, it must be so rough on kids. Like that's the thing. I was like, man, to think that you can't like go to school and like socialize is so strange, you know? It's
yeah.
almost like on permanent timeout, which is odd, but yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
So what was it? Before they're allowed back into school,
Mm-hmm.
Brooklyn was, you could tell it was affecting him because he's like, why can't I see my friends?
Yeah.
He's like, and then at first it was like, why can't I see my friends? I miss my friends. And then there was a week where he's like, I'm never gonna see my friends. And I was like, I'm so sorry.
It's so rough. And they
Yeah.
just like, it's so hard because like, they're not going to really understand. It's like, because you don't want to freak them out and be like, I'm saving your life, kid. Trust me. You can't.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to be like, oh, I just wish I could like tell you what it really means, but it's so hard.
Yeah. It's kind of rough, but it was great because he was home and
Yeah.
I got to hang out with
Yeah.
him.
John,
What's up?
good John.
Are you in a studio?
I know. I was like, dude, where are you?
Well, I work in a co-working space here in Hawaii, and this is our brand new soundproof booth.
Oh, nice.
There's no,
What do you first shifted the
I
camera?
did.
It looked like someone was just
I did just
standing
now,
outside
or
of
did
the
I do
desk
12?
staring at him.
Yeah, that's funny.
No.
Great.
I think I'm the one that booked it.
Oh,
11 to 12.
that's so funny.
It is funny. But
It's okay. I wouldn't be here.
I'm in my garage, sitting on a beach chair. Larry's like in a full sound.
Sounds good. Yeah. That apparently he didn't book out.
That's funny.
No.
Yeah. So how's your family?
Good. Everybody's good. I think I'm just worried about my mom more so than anything else. Like my brothers, I think they kind of work in individual, like they don't work in a big group. So they're fine. They don't care. But yeah.
Is your mom still working?
Yeah, she goes in the office twice a week, I think.
Oh,
But
okay.
again, they're like really spread out. Like it's and they clean. I think there's a cleaning crew that goes in every like 2 hours or something that cleans. So.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I've been going in since, it's like regular for me.
Yeah. Your guys' cases aren't that bad though, right? It's like 100 something or whatever a day or something like that. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Right now.
Ours is like 30,000 to like 100,000 a day.
Wow, are you serious? That's insane.
Crazy.
We're basically back in another lockdown at this point. So
Right.
Yeah. But what are you gonna do? Can't help it.
Yeah, man. Everybody has different opinions on
We're gonna
things.
do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Travel was only down 4% for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
4%. All right, let's take it seriously.
Yeah.
I know.
So funny. But yeah,
dang.
dude, it's so good to see you guys.
I know. It's so good to see you.
Yeah, John, thanks for joining us.
Oh yeah, it's been years. So excited.
Let's kick this off proper so that we can get started. So
cool. Yeah.
It's Larry and Brad Cokie talk story and point your feet.
That is our theme song.
Yes.
Theme song that Kelsey Park has graciously sung.
Hey.
She's like, you guys need a theme song.
Get some crazy royalties from that.
I know, that's what I was gonna say. It's like we're gonna rock it until we get a cease and desist letter.
Yeah.
But for now,
that's it.
It'll do.
It'll do.
You're gonna be filming one of these, and people are just gonna come take you guys away and just shut everything down.
You're just gonna get blank walls.
Yeah.
They're gonna take away Brent's beach chair.
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome to the 30th Sickled podcast.
Yeah.
Today we have a longtime homie. He's been writing for shows like The Real O'Neills and a little one called Fresh Off the Boat.
Yep.
We have a homie John.
Hello. Nice to be here with y'all, man. It's been such a long time.
Yeah. Sure.
Long time. Dancing together. Now we're chatting.
Now we're chatting.
I have to resist the urge, or maybe I have to just like explain to people. John has a nickname. It's the John.
Mm-hmm.
It's not self-proclaimed. It is just a thing that has happened. So if it comes out of my mouth, just know it's a term of endearment for our dear friend.
I love it. It's been like what now, 14, 15 years, and it's stuck like spaghetti. It's just there. It came out once, an accident, and it's stuck there forever. And I appreciate it. Yeah.
That's so happy. Awesome.
But yeah.
So you're in LA right now, John?
Yes. Currently, like I'm right in Hollywood. So if anyone has ever been to Hollywood or California in general, there's an In-N-Out on Sunset. Well, there's a Chinese theater on Hollywood, and there's an In-N-Out right down the street, and I'm right down the street from that In-N-Out. If anybody has
wait. Where are you? Because I used to live around that area, like right across Hollywood Boulevard.
I'm on Fountain and Orange, so I'm walking distance from where you are.
Oh my gosh. I was literally right behind what is that hotel?
The Roosevelt?
Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Nate Pakleb and I used to live in that apartment.
Yeah. I'm right down the street from where you guys are. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy.
I've been here for now, because when we hung out, because Brent, when you were here, I hung out with you a couple times when you were here.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been in this apartment for about 12 years or so now.
Dang.
Same one.
Wow.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good amount of time.
Yeah.
It is a good amount of time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I have a question. How are you not overweight living right next to In-N-Out? What the hell, man?
Yes.
Got that gym set up right behind you. That's the
Nice.
only reason why. And crazy fact, I haven't eaten In-N-Out in probably like 6-7 years, maybe more.
Do you have a
Wow.
rigid diet?
No, I kind of eat whatever I want. I eat like in small, really small, like portions, or I just go like days without eating. It's really strange. This isn't helping, right? This isn't making me look any better. It's just like, okay, he's got an eating disorder. This guy's for some reason, yeah, it does not make me look good at all. But
It's called fasting now.
yeah,
It's
oh
called
yeah,
fasting.
yeah,
It's a cool thing. It's
Fasting.
called intermittent. You know,
That's what I did,
every
yeah.
2 to 3 days, I just don't eat.
Intermittent
That's it.
fasting. It's
fat-
okay.
that's fasting.
Yeah.
That's the term. Yeah.
I had a buddy from Maui come over. We had some food down in Chinatown, and he was saying like, "Oh well, I kind of just like eat one meal a day now." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, the OMAD diet?" He was like, "What's an OMAD diet?" I was like, "It's one meal a day. That's
Yeah.
like a thing now."
It is.
And it's also code for anorexic.
That's it. Yeah. That's truly it. Like depression, whatever you want to call it. Like there's different words for it, but it's
burnout.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Awesome.
Oh my
I
goodness.
feel like we don't even need to do a warm up for John, but I do
Yeah.
feel like because John's such a cool guy, I think people do want to know some of these quirky questions we always ask at the beginning
yeah.
of these.
Go
What do you
for it.
Oh
think, Brent?
yes. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
I mean,
right, so-
it's always a quintessential icebreaker, but what's the favorite food that you like to eat right now?
What is a good food like to eat? You know what? I'm really into a lot of vegan stuff now. So like there's a vegan Mexican restaurant down the street that's incredible. Like I've never tasted. Have you ever had vegan cheese or anything? It's it's disgusting. Like it's so terrible. But this place is like it tastes like actual like nacho cheese, which is mind blowing. Maybe it's more just fascination than the actual like you know
novelty.
the
It's the
taste.
novelty.
Maybe just like how do they do? Yeah. That of
Are
always
you vegan?
No. I think
You just
man,
eat.
this is not making me sound good at all. But being in LA, I'm now lactose intolerant. I'm gluten intolerant. There's so much stuff my body can't process, which I had to stop. Once you guys were like, "Hey, can you come on the podcast?" I was like, "Okay, I got to stop eating this," because I'd be broken out right now. Like my face would just be covered in acne. It's so bad.
Why?
But,
Why does LA do this to one?
I think it's just the air quality is so bad. Like over there, it's like, oh, I can breathe fresh air. Like this is what it's supposed to be like. I can eat stuff that's, but I think it's just my immune system is like, slowly deteriorating. So I can't process that. Thanksgiving, guys, was rough.
What? Oh no.
Rough. Man, because it's like,
That's hard.
it's once a year, I'm going to eat stuffing. I'm going to eat mashed potatoes. I'm going to whatever. Man, toilet scent, like the John, like that's bring it back. Dude, I was on that thing for 2 days straight, just like
that's great.
So you lost 20 pounds, which is
I
nice.
lost definitely 20 pounds. Yeah.
Did you experience that too, Brent, when you were living there, like the quality of air and just like the food tolerance?
Yeah, see, so which is funny because when I moved to LA is when I started becoming allergic to seafood, like all seafood. And then I think just before I moved home, same thing. Like I was getting lactose intolerant, and I had to. I don't know. I didn't really drink milk. It was kind of weird. It's like I don't know what to do. But it's not like super bad because I still can eat ice cream. But yeah, now that's why it's just almond milk.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, I know your allergies change and everything over time, but man, it's rough. It's rough.
Interesting.
Especially when you're like an adult with acne and you're trying to be a Zoom, like no one's gonna take you seriously when you look like a teenager on a Zoom. Yeah.
So what's your favorite dish over there at that spot, John? Is it the nachos?
Nachos is amazing, and they also do nacho fries, which is basically like Jack in the Box curly fries, the seasoned fries. Whatever the seasoning is on that, it's a straight fry, but it's just covered in nacho stuff. But it's vegan chicken, it's vegan cheese, it's vegan sour cream. It's unreal how good it is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because like out here we have like a vegan sushi spot called Tane. Yeah, it's awesome. It was
What
a guy who was
was a
formerly
fish?
trained. Yeah, no. So for example, what they did is they did a eggplant, and it's
Uh,
like it's just like ahi. It was literally ahi. I mean, not
yeah,
literally.
'cause it's
It
just the
tasted.
texture, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So this guy was formerly trained in sushi, but he's applying all of that technique, but still the quality rice, the quality
Wow,
vegetables. Oh man, it's just so good.
man, that's not, yeah. See, and honestly, it's like it feels lighter. Like that's the thing. I think I haven't like had bread since since Thanksgiving, but before that, man, like
Since
vegan
'92.
or gluten-free pasta, love it. It's so much
Yeah.
lighter. Like it doesn't give you that
Mm,
heavy like feeling after. That
yep.
could be it too, but I
Nice.
don't know. Yeah, yeah,
Hit him with the
Nice.
next one, Brent.
All right. What is in your trunk of your car?
yeah. A samurai sword-shaped umbrella.
Nice. I have
Not,
one too.
Yeah, it has like a handle. I was on the
not.
fox lot actually holding it because it was raining last winter, and I was on the fox lot walking with it, and I got stopped by security. Like, what? I was like, "Nah, it's an umbrella. Like, I just why would I come
Dude,
on
I
the
want.
like I got on with my pass. Like, why would I want to just bring it's like whatever. But I have that. An empty wine box, the one that like carries more than. Oh, my fresh off the boat jacket that we got as a crew gift is in there.
Nice.
And then
Oh, man.
one of those, whatchamacallit, the cranks that can charge a car if you get stuck.
Oh,
Oh,
Those are the
interesting.
3 things. Yeah. Yeah. And probably a lot of old dog hair that I haven't vacuumed out of my car from when I had a dog. But
Oh,
Yeah.
you no longer have one? What'd you have?
the husky, giant white husky. Yeah.
wow.
Oh, boy, girl?
Boy.
Oh,
If I showed
man.
you the legs of all my chairs that I'm sitting on, they're like completely chewed up. It's so bad. But yeah, he's awesome. Good dog, but still too much to have in this apartment. So yeah.
Oh.
But yeah.
This is an interesting question. If you could be on any sitcom besides Fresh Off the Boat, which one would you find yourself in?
That's on right now or ever?
Ever.
If ever, just not Friends.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to be on Friends because I know Friends was a tough room to be in. I know Seinfeld was a tough room to be in because we have friends who've worked on, who have friends that have worked on it, and they were saying it's like a really, really rough room to be in.
What do you mean by rough room for people who aren't familiar with that term? Is it like writing?
Writing wise, it gets a lot of hours because basically writer's room is just this. If we're all, 3 of us plus, like however many more you hire, just talking about ideas and stories and jokes and all that stuff. So it's a lot of just sitting around and talking, whatever. But it's, if you don't come up with the right story, we're stuck here for, a whole entire day maybe. And then we just do the same thing over and over and over and over and over. So it's like, it's really just about the energy and how people kind of banter back and forth with each other. And, whatever the boss wants is, plus it's a multicam. So then, you're on set for that, like, and all the writers go to set for that, for that. And then you shoot in front of a live audience and that could take, hours and hours and hours. So it's a really tricky room, but I wouldn't want to be on a multi. I think I'd want to be on like another single if that would be possible. So as far as right now, like Pen 15 sounds like it'd be fun to write on. Like, what else? I don't really know any network shows that I want to run on. If you guys seen The Rookie is like a hour drama or dramedy, but I would love to work on that. That sounds like fun.
Dramedy.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. Like there's a lot, it's basically a drama because it's like in an hour space instead of a half-hour space, but there's so much comedy infused in it that it's like, it's kind of lighthearted. It's not that heavy like ER drama, where or This Is Us. That's like a full-on drama. It's not like a yeah. It's lighthearted. It's easy to watch. It's easy to like digest, in the background. So yeah,
this is fascinating. You must be a writer because usually we ask the question in the context of what you would star in, but you took it as what sitcom would you write on?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to even. Yeah, starring in is tricky because I don't know if I'd want that much. The money's great, but I don't think I want that much attention. Like it's this. It's rough, man.
Like,
Going to the
I'm
store.
happy writing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's the same thing as you guys know, because like as a dancer or anything, it's like, oh, you're a dancer, dance for me. You know, it's the
Right.
same thing if you're that big star, you're like, I don't
Right.
want to do that one line I did like 10 years ago that, you know, it's like,
I know.
it's such a tricky give and take. And like, I'm happy being behind the scenes and, you know, like controlling the puppets than being the puppet.
Yeah.
It's hard, but
That's such a funny thing, you know, when people are like, dance for me. It's
yeah.
like, what, you want me to do a jig
Yeah,
for
what do
you
you
right
mean?
now?
What kind of dance you thinking about? Yeah, it's really odd, but people do that all the time. You know, it's just like it's a weird thing that you're like, can you just turn it on? And it's but you know,
It's
people
like
are
that
fascinated with the world.
Yeah, it's like that when, you know, you talk about pigeon, you're like, say something.
Yeah, say that. That's it.
Dude, I have like the funniest pigeon slang this weekend. Me and Chanel were like, you know, after Thanksgiving, she gets all Christmas out. It's just like it's Christmas for her.
Yeah.
It is, or like we're definitely gonna get a tree. She built a stinking fake mantle, fireplace mantle. She built it. Like it's insane. She's crazy. She builds whatever she wants. But we were like hanging out, shopping downstairs. Like, she has tools. She is crazy. She makes stuff. John, dude, next time you're here, you gotta come over. Like she'll like.
So you wake up at like 6 a.m. and you hear zzz, and she's just drilling and putting it.
Exactly. No, like it's insane. Anyway, so I was helping her doing stuff, and she's like, "Oh, I was saying, nobody says. You know what's a funny thing that nobody says, but any local person just accepts it as regular terminology. Nobody says stupid ass anywhere else than Hawaii.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's such a funny thing.
It's very true.
And then we just kept saying it all weekend.
That's true. Yeah.
Such a stupid ass.
That's because Hawaii people like to yes and everything else. That's great. Yeah. That's why we say something always. It's always like yeah or no or whatever else. Yeah. Like we finish the thought for you. Yeah. It's so good. Stupid ass. I haven't heard that in years.
I know, right?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
My friend said he was standing in line and they caught wind of something that was pretty stink, and he's like, few people down back, you hear some guy go, "What? That just smells like kukai." I was like, oh, I never hear kukai in such a long time.
What is kukai? I don't know. I don't even know that one. What is that?
Duru.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So I used to say kukai in your eye.
I love it. That's gross, man. That's so gross. That's how you get pink eye.
Yeah.
That and coronavirus.
I have to say this because it's funny. It's not bothering me at all, but it's just really funny. Every time you like stay still for a little while or scoot back, you blend into the wall, and all I can see is your neck because your shirt is blending right into the wall.
I love it.
It's like without seeing any kind of logo or anything, like you are part of the wall. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah, look at my arms.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I didn't plan that well.
Funny.
It's like a green screen, but
it's like a green screen.
But gray.
Yeah.
Dude, John, I feel like we could just go forever like this. But as this podcast is, you know, you're doing tons of things. Mm-hmm. I would say you're doing amazing things. But I think it's important for many to hear the origin story of dance for you, especially because of our audience and the stories we've been able to tell and share with people. I like to think that many of what we're doing, including yourself today, was inspired and at least to a certain degree informed by the wonderful culture of dance, the dance community here in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. When did you start dancing?
So how far back? I can go back a little before 24/7, but essentially
you're like, I used to dance in the womb.
Yeah, Yeah, I was kicking in there the whole time. Just didn't. But yeah, no, I think so what happened was like in high school I played sports and then realized I wasn't going to grow any taller. Then I was like, this isn't a reality for me. But I was never very bright. Let's just get that out right away. Really just scooting by on I don't know what. But so that was
Good
also never
looks.
gonna happen. Yeah.
Good looks.
Hopefully, yeah. This is all a Zoom filter, by the way. I got into like, it's like I always knew I wanted to get off the island. So like I'm very Moana based like lifestyle, like always just like dreamt about going like what else is out there. So after high school, I really got into like, okay, so the first thing everyone always does or thinks is like, I'm going to model or act or whatever, because that's going to be easy, right? So
Right.
paid a dumb amount of money for headshots that didn't go anywhere. And like, cause I'm like, what are you supposed to do with these things? I don't know anybody. I'm not trained in anything. So those went straight in the trash.
How old were you?
I was probably like 19 or 20 when that happened.
Wow.
So I was like, man,
sorry,
again.
you grew up, where did you grow up here?
So my family is lives in Kailua, but we went to school on the like the Honolulu side, because I went to Kaiser, I went to what should we call that? Man, I don't even know middle school I went to. I forget already. Coolio.
Hey, just so you know, whatchamacallit's a
Coolio,
local thing too.
Yeah. Right? That's the middle school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to that middle school, then I went to Cocoa Head Elementary School. So I went to school like on that side of the island. Because my parents worked a lot. So I stayed with my aunt, and then my aunt would take us to school and all that stuff. So I went on that side.
So 19, you got headshots.
Yeah. But again, went in the trash. But how I really got into basically any kind of entertainment stuff was through my dental hygienist. I went in for like a random cleaning. Yeah. And she was like, while she was cleaning my teeth, she was like, you want to be in a musical South Pacific? And I was like, sure. I had no idea what I was doing at all. I was like, I'm like bored. The headshots are burning in the trash can. I may as well try. So that was how I got into it. And then from South Pacific, I was like, oh man, I cannot act. I cannot sing. But the dancing, I kind of got right away. So from that, I got into, other musicals and all that stuff. And then my college track like kind of shifted from like liberal arts and like kind of creative writing straight into drama and theater. And then I met Yuri now in college on a cruise, not cruise ship, on a dinner boat I was working at serving. And then I met her and Preston.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yes. Is that Star?
Now that makes sense.
Navatech. They were on
Navatech.
Star. They came over to the Navatech. Yep. Oh, so then I came to, what was the first concert I saw you guys? It was the Britney opening number. What was that one? Sweet Dreams and Britney mix. Whatever that concert was, that was the first concert I saw. And then I bled, or forced myself into 24/7 from there. But yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. It's like, I think it's from that, I was like, okay, there's even in the dance community, there's a version where I'm like, this is a world on the island that I had no idea even existed. So from then my mind just kept spiraling of like, what else can I do? And, it kind of just took off in that way of, like the snowball had, started rolling down the hill at that point. And I was like, I got to do that. And then Norwegian Cruise Line was going to release, the new ship around the islands, which I did with Heather. And I worked on with Chanel, when she was honestly had Levi, when she was writing that ship before. But after the ship, then we're like, okay, there's met my writing partner on the cruise ship. We both knew we were writing, wanted to come out to LA, and it kind of just went from there. But yeah, I think that the discipline and everything, the like pursuit to always be better, whether it be dance or anything you want to do, the passion, I think a lot of it came from 24/7. Like it really did kind of shape this like broad idea of me, from headshots to like musical theater to like, how do I get off the island? I think it really started to like shape and kind of point me in the direction of where and what I wanted to do as far as a creative outlet, I think. which is, yeah,
Wow.
so appreciative to this day, honestly. Yeah.
That's
And even meeting you
awesome.
guys, yeah, back in the day, you know, it's like everybody was so good at what they did that I had to, it's that thing where you're like, oh, you always want to be, you know, iron sharpens iron, basically. So you just want to be around people who are honestly more talented than you to push yourself. And everybody was so much more talented and everything than I was, that I had to just keep pushing and pushing. And yeah, I mean, that's the only reason why I'm honestly here and haven't left yet to this day.
Are
Yeah.
those the headshots you're talking about? Is that the headshots that you post every now and then on your
No, those were
Instagram?
actually like three headshots later. The other ones, man, I can't even tell. They weren't headshots. I think they were on like a disposable camera. That's how much I didn't know. Some guy like worked out of his van and was just, I don't know what he does with these pictures now. Like he could still have those pictures. I don't know what's happening.
That
So,
is so funny.
man,
He
was
just
That's
he
an
just sets
awesome
up.
short.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Go
an
there,
awesome
yeah.
like short story. That's like a good like web story where
Oh,
like
yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
tries to get headshots. It's almost similar to Chris Pratt's.
Yeah,
Chris Pratt's
it's
too.
that bad. You're just like, it's like a Craigslist ad basically. And there was no Craigslist ad. It was just like some, I don't know what ad I looked up, but man.
It was just Uncle. It was just
Yeah.
Uncle
It.
in the white van.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the
He's just-
cautionary tale, the thing you should never do. Like go to a stranger's, you know, it's like, oh man, so scary. But yeah.
That's so crazy because I remember you just appearing like out of nowhere one
Yeah.
day.
As
And
an
it was like,
adult.
oh, this is John, and he's a tall guy, he's buff, and he dances. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
In a class with 3-year-olds learning ballet bar. Like get the one tall bar out for this guy while all the other kids are on the short bar. Yeah.
What
Oh, man,
what was
so
that
weird.
like, John? Because like not many people start that late, you know, like in the dance world. So like for you, if you were like 19, 20 and dancing with 3-year-old ballet sweethearts, what
Yeah.
was that like for you, like jumping in so later in life?
I think
Because
that,
it seems like you were really driven,
yeah, I
regardless
think
of
that's
that.
what it is. I mean, it was just
Mhm.
like, it was such a world that was so fascinating to me that I'd never known at all. Like I've seen it a bunch of times because one of my crazy, one of my favorite movies is Grease. And so like, I get the music and the movement behind everything, but to see the kind of dancing you guys did and honestly, the work it takes to get to that level of even me looking at a 3-year-old being like, oh, she's standing up straight. And she's like, and the teacher basically picking, and this time it was Dora, I think, right? Wasn't that her name?
Oh, nice.
Wow,
Yeah.
Dora.
Yeah. So and like her picking apart me and like, like I'm the bad kid in class. Where I was like, okay, this, like this kid doesn't get it. He's, back of the line, that kind of feel only I think pushed me. So I think it's always, and it helps me, I think to this day, of the constant ego check and the constant always being humble, always being at a place that, no matter what age you are, whatever it is, like, I think we're always trying to learn and better ourselves. It really, I think, helped me now more so than ever being in that studio. Cause it's tricky. It's like my leg can't do that. Why can't it do it? Well, it's cause, you played sports and you didn't stretch. So it's that taking the time to like really hone what you're trying to do versus, someone who's walked in at a very early age. I think it's a fascinating mindset to kind of like remove your ego and just kind of press on with whatever you have and taking the time. I'm so grateful for it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So how old were you when you moved to LA again?
I was 27, I believe, 2008.
Wow. So you had like a good 6 years of dancing before you moved to LA.
Yeah, had to rip tear all the like to get more flexible, but yeah, it was a good time. But I mean, I really dove in because I was there. Like I think you all seen it too. Like I was there all the time. If it wasn't working, I was pretty much there the whole time. So
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Also not great for me to say that, but like, I dropped out of school and stuff, but you can cut that part out if you need to.
Let's keep it real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's...
Yep. It was like, I now know what I want to do. It's like, this is like something in the arts, but this is it. I don't need to learn like AP, AP calculus is being generous. I'm not talking about, I'm talking about algebra, basic algebra. I'm like, I don't need this. I'm going to be a writer. But yeah. But yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Crazy story.
That's what college or school is supposed to do anyway. It's supposed to help you discover what you are wanting or meant to
Yeah,
do in
kind
the
of create
world,
that
you know?
path for you. Yeah. But I mean, that's again what 24/7 I felt like did. It's like that kind of carved out a path where I was like, okay, this is what I want to do now. So
Mm.
it was very helpful.
What would you say was like one of the most intriguing aspects? I think you touched on like the discipline, the crafting of a story, the production. I think all these things have the capacity to captivate someone. But if you think about those 6 years while you were training, which you didn't necessarily think you were training to become a writer in LA.
Right.
I think you just dove 100% in, which in and of itself is amazing and special.
Mhm.
But what was one of the things that stood out to you that really like this is where I'm going to land. This is where I'm going to spend X amount of hours during my week because I'm in. Do you remember what that was for you?
I would
Besides
say
Yuri?
besides Yuri. I think it was, yeah. I mean, that's a really good question. I think it was probably, it was a bunch of different things. I think like small moments. Definitely one was, like you have to, or not have to, but do you want to audition for the company, right? Was one of the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
And it's yes or no. And again, you can, pick apart the way but it's basically, a lot of it was more of like how much, and again, because I love cult mentality, and this is not cult mentality, but
Yes.
it is very much like that thing where you're like,
It's
oh,
very close to Hawaii mentality. It's just very
yeah, very small, very niche, but like
yeah.
honestly, how much do you want to get out of this? I think so. It's those moments where you're like, how much do you want to? And again, like you said, I started from like, and for most people, you don't start that late. That's really, really old to start. Like your body is already kind of formed to what it's supposed to, or what it's capable of doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I think it's that thing where it's that, how much do you want to lean in? How much do you want to get better? How much? So it was from, do you want to be part of the company, to like be here more and put more effort into it, to do you want to be part of this concert? Then that's this much more time and effort and energy and all. So it was just a snowball effect of also, and again, you guys were like great to be around. So it's like, I enjoy being around nice people who are very talented and very driven. And I think that's the thing that kind of got me going. And as far as like being there, again, we've all known, like, because we were in rehearsals, we were in concerts, we were in things like this, or whether it be church or whatever, the more you're around like-minded people, the more you just start creating this energy and this vibe of like, there's no stopping it. And I think that's the cool thing I think that I took away from 21st, which is the most important, I think. Because again, like, if you're around people who, and I've grown up just, laying on the beach and like being happy, chilling out, and like, I can do this tomorrow, we can study tomorrow, we can do all these things later, whatever else, which is really fun. And I love those kinds of people as well. But there is a drive that you need to be around, like, those certain kinds of energies that only push you harder or make you want to do more. And I think that's I don't know if there was one specific moment, but there was a lot of those little moments where I was like, you guys can go home, or the studio's empty now, and if you guys want to keep practicing, let's keep practicing. So then it pulls you in. You're like, okay, good, let's do it. If everybody's in, I'm in too, because I don't have anywhere else to be, or I don't want to be anywhere else. This is where I want to be. And so yeah, I think that was it. Yeah. But again, I had 18 years of basically being a a fuck off. So I was like, okay, I can put a little bit of effort now at this age,
I was gonna say, like, what created that drive, because like that's not a common thing for us cruise local people.
Yes.
And so what you're calling Moana syndrome, which I love, which I'm probably gonna say from now on. But so was it 18 years of cruising that created that Moana syndrome, or where does your drive and your dedication and your desire for improvement and growth come from?
Are you competitive?
Huh?
Yeah.
Are you competitive?
I'm very competitive. Do you see that dartboard back there? I'm extremely, extremely competitive. When it comes to
a Veles thing?
Huh?
Is that a Veles thing, or is that a you thing?
I don't know. It could be a me thing, But like, again, playing sports growing up, but also,
Yeah, sports.
yeah, it's all the stuff of like, there's something that's drilled in there that, I also grew up with 2 older brothers who like, always beat me at everything. So I think there is that mentality of always trying to prove myself. But I think it came from, honestly, it came a lot from, being a latchkey kid, like growing up in like the 80s, like 90s, like it was a lot of just TV watching and just, fantasizing about, I think I can do that too, whatever that is on, this actor, like Saved by the Bell. I can do what Zach is doing. I can do what Kelly, like that version, like I can do that and I want to do that. It's like, and again, I was like, I think, man, this is going to be sound so creepy, but I was so in love with like Britney Spears and like Pamela Anderson and like those I'm like, I can be on that Chuck. I can be on Baywatch. Like the beach is right there. It's like that version where it's like, I can do that. So I want to get out of here because clearly like it's not that far away, right? Like it's a weird, and again, it's a delusion, I guess you can call it as well, that it's like, it is far away. It takes a lot of time and energy and effort to get there. But in my naivety, I think I found like, it helped me to get, just push and push and push. And then, you hit the walls and you hit the wall and you hit the wall until you finally get through. Because I think that's another interesting thing that the only reason why I think we've lasted this long is that we've come up with like kind of this industry is very much like physics in a way that, like you have to think of the industry as like, an immovable object. You just have to be the unstoppable force. And as soon as they collide, like you just have to keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing, because it's not gonna move or change that much to the point where like, you can always create and kind of like have that it shift a little, but it's always going to be the way it is. You just keep pushing. Like as long as you're just an unstoppable force, you're going to get in. But it's
fascinating.
It's difficult. Most people, it's really, really tricky to do. It's like you have to, and then also just finding I think that, and then also just finding gratitude, like being able to be grateful for things, because again, it's an ebb and flow. It's a very feast or famine kind of industry. You always have to sit in moments of gratitude. Like I'm healthy, I can put food on the table, I can turn around, I can throw darts, there's so many things. I can go on a hike, that if you can find gratitude in the small things, in those moments, it's so much easier to keep going. Because it's not easy being here and, away from, friends and family and home. And it's tricky, but doable. But yeah.
Is the gratitude portion something that's developed over your years there, or is that something that you've always carried with you?
Oh yeah, no, definitely it's developed for sure. Because again, like, it's a tricky, and I'll go into this story too, but it's tricky being out here, because I've been out here for now, what, 12 years or so, from 2008 to 2020. And I've only broken in like in the last 4.5 years. So it's, like those 8 years of working at a bar, having guns pulled on me, having like fist fight at a bar. These are all true stories. Like having like all these things of just like, you're, like sweeping the sidewalk and like the cigarette butts or vomit off the sidewalk at 4 a.m. just to get up the next day to like write a script. And like, you're trying to like figure out how to get in. You just don't know how. But again, there's so many moments where you're like, oh, I can still feed myself. I still have a roof over my head. It's finding those moments to like really, or even like chatting with you guys now. Like these are moments I think that you have to find, like, this is truly something that I'm grateful for, because not many people get this. Like I could be here all by myself from like a foreign country, like I'm trying to learn the language and trying to be an actor, and the whole world shuts down, so I can't. It's impossible. Like there's so much to be grateful for, I think, and I think that's where it's developed over time. And then if you guys have time, I'll tell you a really crazy story.
Dude, tell it. But before you tell it, I just wanted to say it's really awesome to hear that, like that those kinds of things that's not just like information or knowledge. I think there's a distinction between just information and wisdom. And I think wisdom is lived, and that's a byproduct of a lot of work, a lot of grief, a lot of disappointment, and then coming back around. And it's gratitude. It's truly great people are grateful people.
Yeah, it's true.
I just wanted to highlight that. That's really cool to hear things like that.
Yeah, no, it's true. Because again, like success and like all these like superficial, like, things, it doesn't hold weight, honestly.
Mm.
You know, as I
Yeah.
get a knock on the door because I just ordered shoes.
Oh, go
But
get
that's
them.
all. It's all superficial stuff. Other than that,
that was perfect timing.
perfect. I just got it. Like I
Perfect
just
timing.
ordered some Jordans, and I think they just arrived. But again, that's all like superficial stuff.
That's where like Jim
But I'm
Carrey says
grateful
that
for the timing. But no, it's yeah, but I think that's you just have to find those moments, because I think like other stuff, it just doesn't last. But like those, those moments, I think are very like, yeah, they're character changing,
I love the quote
But-
that Jim Carrey says where he's like, I wish all of my friends would get famous, then they'd realize that it's not all that it's like cracked up to be.
Yeah, it's
I really love that.
It is a job, but it's not going to sustain you. I think that's the thing. It's like it's every like meal or everything you eat. Like you have to keep replenishing. And I feel like the same thing with gratitude and all that stuff. You just have to keep replenishing and really. But it's the stuff that actually does sit with you for longer. So.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Tell
But,
us the
yeah.
story.
Yeah. So what happened essentially, and this is like a sad, but also like it's a really eye-opening story, is that so 4.5 years ago, we got with the Real O'Neills. And then we learned a lot, because as a writer, we're brand new. All these people are very seasoned writers. You kind of just go in and it's sink or swim. You have to kind of adapt to the environment right away, or you're going to get left behind, or and it's tricky.
Who's we?
I have a writing partner who I met on the cruise ship. His name is Josh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. So when you say we, it's you and Josh. So you guys
Yeah.
got in together into
Yeah.
the Real O'Neills.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yep.
Got
So
it.
it really did work out where, because he was the assistant to the showrunner on season 1 of Real O'Neills. And then she hired us on season 2 of the Real O'Neills. So that's how we got it. Yeah. Very grateful, lucky to have that position and that job and to get in that quickly. But so we were working on that show, and then it was our episode to write and whatever else. So basically what you do is you create an episode together as a writer's room, and then the person who's in charge of the next episode is basically running the room in a way where like you kind of guide the story with the showrunner's help, but you kind of guide the story and everything. So we're breaking our episode of television, and then the first episode of television ever that I've ever written. And then my mom calls and says that my dad has a heart attack.
Oh.
So, but they were like, oh, my dad's always been a jokester. Like, oh no, he's fine. Like, stay there. We're so excited you're doing your episode of television. Stay there. Everything's fine. And then, so I was like, oh, okay, like, man. And my bosses were so cool. They're like, go home. If you got to go home, go home. It's fine. But like, again, so I'm super excited. We're doing our thing finally after 8 years of struggling and everything. So I think my family knew that. Like, just stay there. He's already home. He's fine. The surgery went well. He's gonna be fine. So I stay there. It takes about like anywhere between like 2 weeks to like a month to break an episode of television to get like the context. So like it can take a little while. So we're like getting some good momentum. Our bosses allow us to write our own musical number, which like also never happens as new people, to like, oh, create your own.
Awesome.
Like, we can create our own song. Like, just trust us, we can do it. So we're trying to create this musical number about Kenny, the lead actor, getting his first boyfriend, which is huge for network television. Like, to see a gay character and basically have this love story where like the only way we can describe it is through music and song and dance. So we're creating that episode, like that feeling of like your first crush or your first, relationship is like a big feeling. So like the only way we want to describe it is through this song and dance. So we're doing that. And then on my way to work one morning, I get a call right away. My mom says, Dad passed away. So yeah, he was on blood thinners. It was a triple bypass. Like, they basically took a vein from his leg and put it in his heart and everything.
Yeah.
But the wound wasn't healing because, the blood thinners is too much. So one off blood thinners, and then immediately like that. The second time took him real quick. So going to work, they were like, go home. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm like sobbing at this point, like, it's again the worst, terrible. Again, now looking back, it's really funny because I was sitting at the airport and they're like, hey, we know, and again, we don't want to bother you. You don't have to respond to this at all, but we really need this one line about in the song. Could you like, what rhymes with like cell phone or something for this kid to like, whatever else. So like, I'm sitting at the airport crying with a hat on, like I'm trying to like hide my face. But also now looking back, I'm like, it's the funniest thing to be like, oh my God, so what, like, phone, home. Like I'm trying to come up with a lyric to like put in a musical number about an episode. Anyway, so I go home, of course, I go home for like a week, 2 weeks or whatever, figure out, all of that, go to my dad's funeral and stuff like that. And then, we crank out this great episode of television. But it's funny because it's that, I think that's one of the most defining moments ever of my life. And this is again with the whole balance and how, everything I feel like works in a specific way. It was the highest high and the lowest low. And it kind of just evened out. Exactly. Now that, 4 years gone or whatever else.
Yeah,
I can
hindsight.
really, and just be grateful for, and again, my dad would never be like, come home. Like you should have came home. It was always just go do your thing. So proud of you. Like that kind of vibe. So it's fascinating to be like, to step back and be like, yeah, if I was not in the position I was in, I probably would have moved home because that would have been like soul crushing and just would have been like, what's the point? But I think the universe had really just evened it out, got kind of just like, God was like, okay, you're going to be okay. So really did like, it was but that's the thing. It's always being grateful, I think, for no matter what happens, like there's a version of it where, you're going to come out of it and you just got to keep pushing and, know that people are always want the best for you and all that stuff. So yeah. Crazy though.
That's such a crazy story.
Yeah.
That's insane.
First episode of television, just like that.
I kind of want to watch the episode now. I'm going to go find it.
Yeah, it was unreal.
What was the line, if you don't mind me asking? What was the rhyme?
I honestly, right now, I can't remember it.
That's okay. I
don't remember. But yeah, it's in the opening number of that episode. It's a really big like musical number, but we wrote that. To this day, I'm like, geez, that's the moment. Like it's always gonna like define that, But yeah, I'm so grateful for it. It's like that's again, if it happened any other time or whatever, I think it would just like crush me even more than it had. So, but yeah. Protected. I was protected,
So crazy you were.
Yeah.
Dang.
But
so
I think
when you guys, go ahead.
No, I think that's what you're saying. I mean, it's just like, great stories, great anything that you put passion towards, or you're that driven to do. It only comes from life experiences. You can't like if I had went straight from home to school to a job or whatever. Like I wouldn't have, danced it 24/7. I wouldn't have danced on cruise ships. I wouldn't have worked in bar jobs. I wouldn't have done I've lived like so many different lives. And I think that's what contributes to most of the stories. And like, trials, tribulations, everything you go through, it only makes things more authentic, I think. So it only has helped me. Yeah.
There's a Franciscan priest and writer that I really love. He writes, he says, it's only great love or great suffering that will really open someone up to something more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty cool. You experience both in that moment.
Yeah.
It was great love and great suffering.
Yeah.
That really birthed a new thing.
Yeah, truly unreal. But grateful for that to gone through both, because again, nothing's going to prepare you for either, honestly. It's just like take the highs and the lows as they come and kind of just got to go with it.
So you and Josh, were you guys writing on the boat? Like you guys were like exchanging story ideas, or how did it start? Like how did your dance?
Yeah.
How did you get into like writing?
Well, because on the cruise ship, we work like 2-3 days a week. And then most of the time as an entertainer, you kind of have the freedom to kind of just, fuck off and do whatever you want to do. So it's that freedom of like, what else can we do? We can only drink so much and we can only lay out on the deck so much. So like, let's go have a sit down session of like, I think we both knew we wanted to, like, this was a specific time period of singing and dancing. Like performing was not our forte, like that we really, really wanted to do. It was always about creating. So I think we were from the cruise ship. Yeah. We had made like a gentleman's agreement to like, after this contract, we'll both move to LA. And luckily, honestly, Yuri had the same, drive as well to like not to be on the cruise ship. She wanted to be in LA and dance for all these people. So yeah. I mean, it just,
So
it, honestly,
what was appealing about the industry, about specifically the writing industry? Like, did you have role models? Did you know people? Because usually, you know, we're inspired by something to aspire to be it.
mhm.
And did you have a role model or somebody that was successful that you were inspired by and wanted to explore the same footsteps?
I think it was just storytelling in general. I think that was it. I
Mm.
mean, I wanted to be the white Power Ranger growing up. Like I wrote a
Yes.
story like as a kid.
Yes.
Yeah. It was the weirdest thing. I wrote like my own, and this is so sad, but I wrote my own, like before fan fiction was a thing, like I wrote my own story of like, man,
No.
yeah. When the Green Ranger came out, I was like, man, you know, the only color that's not right there is a white Power Ranger. Like I'm gonna write. So I wrote and it's probably gone now because I wrote it in pencil on like a notebook, but I was like, I really want to be the White Ranger. So I wrote this whole story. The next season of White Ranger came out. I was like, they stole. So from then it kind of like, yeah, it snowballed. I was like, oh, this is that's a world. But again, it's all those things. Like growing up glued to the television, it was always like, oh, I like that story. I like that story. And I just wanted to get into something of that realm. And also, I think to me, it was also a drive of that we don't, as kids growing up, when we grew up, there was always that interesting thing where I think, like an Asian character or whatever else, we were always the butt of the joke, or we're always a side character. It was always that thing where I'm like, I think I got to change that, because now like coming to California and everything, being a token of something is always, it doesn't feel great, but I think I always, like, now I'm in the mindset of like, I want to change the look of, and a lot of people do now. And I think it is evolving and changing, but back in the day, I mean, like we had like Long Duck Dong, we had Data from Goonies, like we had those characters, which like,
exactly,
they're fun and whatever, but it's like either we're doing Kung Fu, we're the villain, or we're the butt of the joke. So like all those things, I was like, I think it's, now buried in my psyche that like, I want to change the conversation. I want to change the look of what a hero or leading man would be. So I think over time it evolved into something a little more, specific.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Larry changed offers.
Sorry, I had to switch room. My booking was up, but I heard all of that.
Oh,
I think that's,
wait, where are you now? Like in the bathroom stall?
He's in a phone booth.
This place is so rad. It's called Hub Co-working over here, but this is it's like it's a red like phone booth. It looks like.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Is there a phone in there?
No, I wish. That would be super cool.
That'd be awesome.
That would be insane.
It's just designed like it. That's awesome. But yeah.
I was just gonna say, just like hearing that. Oh man, there's so much I wanted to say there. My brain is farting.
Oh no, but yeah, I think it's,
like, as far as like representation, like I'm 37 now. Whatever, dude. It's only now at 37, and am I recognizing the desire, like many people are. I think many people are recognizing the need for representation of race, of color, of sexuality, of all of these different things. And I think, like, storytellers like yourself have such a important and special role to play as far as providing a place for representation to happen.
Yeah.
And that's why I love what Brent and I are doing and where we come from, like here on the islands. It's like, it's just like two older dudes that want to tell the stories of the dance community that is doing their thing. But it's just awesome to see a Kailua boy who went to school in Honolulu, who had a drive to go beyond the reef and work hard and do the things that you're doing. And because, like, when I asked you, do you know of any local or writers I don't know that I know anybody except the John.
Yeah.
You know, somebody who's
Yeah.
gone and who is writing in LA, and I think that's amazing. And I think me and Brent's hope and desire is that other people will see this as well and be inspired to aspire to do these things. And
Yeah.
just, man, I think you're just a cool guy, John. Even though
I
I
appreciate it.
didn't get to hang out with you as much as other people did, as much as Chanel did with you. I feel like I know you so well, but we don't
Yeah.
really talk or hang out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I think that's,
cool
I mean, that's such a local thing too. It's like always like, no matter what, like you can catch up 20 years from now, it still feels like the exact, like we're just picking up another conversation we had so long ago. There's like that ease and that comfortability that comes with it. Cause it's, we all get it. We all understand where we not only came from, but like same thing, like it's all like-minded people. That's it.
exactly.
You know, like storytellers or creators, it's all that like energy that you immediately vibe with, I think. So
Are there things like from the dance world and your 6 years of dancing, 24/7 and on the ship that like translate into your process right now as a
all of it.
writer?
Yeah, because it's
Like
all about
that
the
is
same thing.
fascinating.
It's so much repetition. Like you cannot you to understand a breaking a story, whatever. It's just literally doing it over and over and over and over, and taking the time and taking that. It's a lot of mental energy. Same thing with it's a lot of physical energy and mental energy to like get your body to do whatever you want to do. Like at a like with a hair trigger,
At the
it's the
drop of a
same thing
dime,
with like
yeah.
breaking the story. Something
Yeah.
doesn't feel right. Something doesn't, until you like it locks in, and then like even like doing a split or anything like that, it's like it locks in and we're like, okay, this is what it's supposed to feel like. It's not supposed to like feel like a ripping, tearing pain. It's just feel like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna sit in here, like, yeah, it's like getting to that, like, but in your brain, not like through your like crotch or anything.
That's your crotch. I think based off of this interview, as well as the many references to stretching and tearing, I think we have a good grasp of what your experience was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. Oh man, I still feel it. Every time it gets cold, I like, oh, that's a dance thing. Yeah, my legs, my hip, everything just goes. Oh, it's so funny.
When I was in the fourth grade, I think Van Damme was popping at that time.
Oh yeah.
And so I was trying to do a Van Damme split in the bathroom at my grade school. And like in the bathroom, there's like tile floors.
Yep.
I was trying to do my Van Damme thing, and my buddy goes and he pushes me all the way to the ground.
Oh.
And I kid you not, something tore then. And
Yep.
to this day, even though I'm not actively training or stretching, I can do a center split
Yep.
at the drop of a dime.
Yep. That muscle never connected. It's just still like, yep.
Something broke, dude.
Yep.
Something broke.
I would say that's not fair, but
Right.
that's kind of wrong in like so many ways.
That's so funny. But again, I mean, that's Pam many thanks for doing that for you long time.
There you go. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for somebody tearing my crotch.
Yeah.
John, tell us a little bit about Fresh Off the Boat. You mentioned the Real O'Neills a little bit. What's it like to be on Fresh Off the Boat? Naturally, Hawaii people have an affinity towards Fresh Off the Boat because of much of our Asian influence here. What's it like to work with Constance Wu and Randall Park?
I'm gonna get in trouble. I'll just stick with that positive. Like Randall Park is absolutely incredible to work with. The nicest guy, so talented, truly incredible. Constance, I think, was more of a specific person.
Actor.
Yeah, actress. Yeah, she was a little more difficult, but again, I'll just stick with that. But again, being on that show, I think it's just learning lessons. Like our boss, Nanachka Khan, who she had said it during our final wrap of the show of it's just like this industry was a lot of like straight white males running every show, no matter what it was about, running those shows. And Nanachka, she's like, I wasn't any of those. I'm a female lesbian of color. And I'm like, it was nice to finally have a place that she she has a voice. She's very talented, extremely talented, probably one of the most talented people I've ever met. But I think that's what that show really allowed, to like have very nuanced stories, but globalize it, where it's like, just because they're an Asian family doesn't mean that we're any different from anyone else. We might have different nuances here and there, but it's the same things. Like you push your kids to, want the best. And I think learning those delicate balances of, even with this podcast of, it's not an isolating podcast. It's, you're trying to globalize, like it's for everybody to listen to, whatever. It's the same thing with storytelling, which is why I think, again, it's, you're just constantly learning, constantly evolving. And I think, this is episode 30 for you guys.
This is episode 30. I read somewhere that people die off at, I read that people die off at 3.
Oh yeah. Usually it's like a binge thing. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. But yeah, I mean, same thing that you guys are doing. You're creating a narrative, you're creating a story, and I think that's the most that I think I learned from that show was truly how to tell nuanced stories, but globalize it. I think in a way that everybody can understand. And again, it was set in the 90s, so like that was a perfect generation for us to tell those stories. Whatever else, yeah,
for sure.
So, that was great.
That's so cool.
Dang, man.
So easy. You gotta like. We say this of everybody. We gotta do round 2 for sure.
Sure.
Grateful for your time, man.
Yeah, so grateful to be on here, guys, chatting with you guys.
Thank you. Have you been working from home, or have you been going in?
Just this past year. So we were in a mini room for a Netflix show that was basically going to be a revamp of Golden Girls. With Jane Lynch and Cyndi Lauper and all that.
I used to watch that, man.
Funny. It's still so good. But yeah, we did a Zoom room for that. Again, really tiny, because this for like 6 hours, your eyes start getting all wonky like every single day.
Yeah.
And then we just now Zoom pitching an idea, or Zoom, meetings and everything. It's all here. So we Zoom pitched, and we just sold another show to ABC, which is great. Grateful for us. Yeah.
Congratulations.
So yeah, thanks.
So
I mean, yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But again, the process, we're all learning. So we'll see what happens. But yeah.
We always ask this of dancers, but I'm sorry, Brent. This might be what Brent's gonna ask, but how do you stay creative and motivated? Is that where you were gonna go?
Yes, sir.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I think it's this again. I'm grateful for the craziness that is my brain. I think there's so many ideas up there that I don't have time to like really get going. But it's all things that I think we all, what would you want to see on television? What do you think is lacking? What inspired you that day? I think that's where all of it comes from, I think, in my mind. Also, I was a nerd that used to role play, so there's a lot of like D&D and all that stuff. Like
yes.
such a nerd. But yeah, yeah.
What was your D&D name?
Mine?
Yes.
Oh, I don't remember the names. I just always knew that I played an elf. Always. Like again, see the psyche that buried in. Like you wanted to be a tall, like light-haired, like kid. Like I mean, it's like, man.
You wanted to be Link.
Yeah.
You wanted to be Link.
Yep. Exactly. See, gonna change that. Gonna change it now. I'm gonna be a dwarf or like a halfling at this point. dig in, really lean into that. Yeah. But yeah, just always, I think it's just, you can find it anywhere as far as like creativity and all that. Like you just pull from anything that's kind of just a source of, whatever motivates you, influences you of any kind of way,
Is there anything particular that's kind of inspiring you or piquing your interest right now?
There's a couple of, we're doing, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but we have a meeting to possibly write the next Lilo and Stitch. We have a meeting.
Shut up.
Nice.
So, again, I think they're just looking for, like you said, there's very little Hawaii writers. So like they want like some authentic stories that can basically bleed into the next.
Do it, John.
Yeah.
Do it.
I'd hunted for that, but I'm also writing some, Christmas movies. I really want to do like Hawaii horrors. I already wrote like a Pele.
Obake.
It's never, it hasn't been done. Like it's the one genre that no one's ever tapped into Hawaii folklore.
No.
And I know it's really tricky.
Only in Halloween.
Okay,
that dude's
hold on.
getting all the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one guy that does the tours.
Yeah.
Hold on. So
Ben Grant.
John, if you come back, let's say you come back and
Mhm.
you go on those ghost hunting tours,
Yeah.
let me know, because no one will go with me.
Oh yeah, I'd love to.
No
would
one
love
wants
to
to go with me, and
Yeah.
I
I'm
just
not
want to
going.
go.
Let's do it. I'm so down to do it. But yeah.
No.
Yes.
But I think just on, and again, this is just maybe my selfish version of like trying to, get on the island again. But I think I really want to gear more, more storytelling. And like, there's so much stories you can tell in Hawaii, like that's
Yeah.
based in Hawaii culture and all that. So I really want to
Yes.
try and pull some of those stories that for some reason haven't been told at all, But
Or
It's
at
so
least in
funny.
an organized, well-produced manner.
Yeah.
That's it. Yep.
That's so funny, because we were just talking at work about my friend. He goes hiking a lot, and then he's like, "Oh, we were hiking, but we cut through here because night
Night
marchers." And I was
marchers.
like,
Yeah, matches. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, and it's funny because everyone's like, "Yeah, okay," but
Yep.
it's the people that's not from here. I'm like, "What is that?
What?
Like,
Yeah.
what is a night
Yeah.
marcher?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's classic. But again, even your story, like that's a perfect, that's a story. That's a story. Like
Mhm.
your best friend shoving you down, and for some reason now you become this like karate legend because you can kick someone. It's all that, like those are all stories that immediately like, oh, that's a story point. That's it's like it's that kind of mentality that I've kind of sharpened now.
Yeah, man.
Like,
My
it's-
Bama is fire.
Yeah, see?
This is the Filipino Jean-Claude.
Yeah.
Man, you could take these horror stories from every race that's here, man, and have
Yeah.
a series. That's
Yep. That's the thing.
everybody has their own.
Yeah. It's just about like, it's about honoring the culture and everything. That's the tricky part. Cause people from Hawaii can be really, really touchy with stuff. So it's really, it's finding the balance between telling a really good story and then also honoring, the islands and, our culture and all that stuff. So
Yeah, telling it right.
yeah.
Well, what is it about storytelling that is? Why are you passionate about storytelling? Because some might say that's kind of a fad now. A lot of people kind of tout storytelling as a thing. That's their deal. Entrepreneurs, people in my industry, in the graphic design industry, use that as a major point for marketing and branding.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about you? Like, where do you see storytelling, and why is it important to you and to the world?
I think it's also, I think there's a lot of, what I go to like, just again, my childhood and the base of where it started. And it's just like, I think to me, it's a fun escape for for a little bit, it's also, it opens up everybody's mind to like even Goonies, like, I don't know where Astoria is and all that, like, but that cool pirate ship and all, like, it's basically the treasure hunt of it all, like Indiana Jones, all these things. It's just, it's such a cool escape to get into, like, and again, Jaws, to this day, like, I'm terrified of the ocean because that is stuck, that big shark is stuck in my brain forever. I think the power of words and going on an adventure with somebody, I think is so, I think to me, it's such a specific, like, way to build character and everything, honestly. I think that's the other thing. There's so much noise in the world, which is why people are trying to, be the loudest and whatever else. But I think, again, a good clean story that everybody can get behind, I think it would speak volumes, like, beyond anything else out there, So I think I just go to the base of what good storytelling is,
That's so awesome.
Yeah. Like,
That's so
super
awesome.
simple. It's just a shark. It's two notes, but
2 notes and
a shark.
That's it.
And that's the whole story. Like, what? But it's still to this day one of the best, movies of all time. Like, it's that simple version, but like, now what's the one up level of it? And I'm always happy to. I mean, there's so many. You have a story. Brand has a story. Everybody has their own story, and I think there's space for it to now. Everyone has that platform. There's enough room out there to, because we grew up with what, 4 or 5 channels.
Yeah, basically.
There's too many.
Exactly.
There's too many. So like now, I love the idea behind all of it. Just that energy of, like, escaping for just a little bit, whether it be a movie or like a series or whatever it is. Yeah.
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
for sure.
Because I hear you saying escape, but I also hear you say reconnecting as
Mm-hmm.
well. You know, it's kind of like reconnecting ourselves to life, you know,
Yep.
to each other. And I mean, even stories, the oratory stories are what grounded us to reality and
Yeah.
grounded us to our history. And storytelling is something that goes back
Mm-hmm.
to caveman days.
Yeah. Every culture, every religion. It's the same thing with like food and all that stuff. Like it just transcends like, I mean, everybody. Like, you know, it's just like it is
Yes.
there, and it's always a need for people. I think humans, you know,
Yes.
to just tell a story and all that stuff. So I
It,
think it's just, yeah,
that's so
I
cool.
love it.
Ah, I'm so
I love it.
inspired, man.
Yeah.
No, for
No,
sure.
same. You guys are, yeah, truly every single time. It's been so long, but yeah, feels like
Way too
yesterday.
long.
Yeah.
It really
I
does.
know.
Yeah.
We're totally going over. But before
Oh,
we go, like we always have to hear like what would be a piece of advice from you for someone who is wanting to, I mean, let's say for what you're doing, break into the writing industry, whether it be here, whether it be there in LA. What would be your piece of advice from anyone, and also even dancers who are here and wanting to break into other areas of creating and storytelling?
yeah. I think it's always just being curious, just always like, I think, you know, saying yes to a lot of things, you have to kind of be out there with it. I don't think you can, there's a version of like an artist or a creator, essentially, you know, like you're sitting in your house and you think you're creating something well, but at the same time, like you can create something for yourself. That's always wonderful. But if you want to share that with the world, you have to get out there. You have to kind of like, you have to network. You have to really be hungry, but also always be humble and be respectful. I think that's a really big one too, because you know everybody comes to LA, or everyone like is searching for something, and there is a balance between pushing too hard and being driven, but also being respectful to someone else's time, energy, all that kind of stuff. And
Mhm.
knowing that it does take time, I think that's probably the best. Like there's no time to like, you have as much time as you want or need to like succeed, essentially. Because again, like now I just sit down for a living, so it's like I can do this till I'm dead, essentially. You know what I mean? I can do this forever. So like don't put a time clock on your success. I think is one of the biggest things I can probably say. Because again, like
That's a good one.
yeah, but also, and then finding moments to just really honestly be grateful for everything, because everything's a lesson. Everything's a moment that you can take to use for the next piece of, whatever puzzle we're trying to create. So yeah.
That's good. For people who
So
have a
good.
hard time, being grateful, like how do you do that? Like how do you, like, let's say for somebody who's super driven and is hungry but is working on being humble,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because hungry and humble, that's a wonderful combination.
Yeah.
Hard to carry those two tensions together.
Mm-hmm.
Like how do you kind of like take moments or create a space for you to be intentionally grateful?
I would say the easiest way to do it and the quickest way is serve tables.
Nice.
Be a waiter
Yeah.
of any kind, be in the service industry of any kind, and you are immediately humbled every single time.
Interesting.
Yep. Because again, I was a bartender, I was a server for years. I was a delivery driver. I folded clothes for a living. Brent, I think you know that, like working at Abercrombie. I've done every job. I dug ditches. Like I done everything across the board as far as a day job to be where I am now. I think that's the thing. Always like being that ego check, being in that class with
Service.
3-year-olds, at the ballet bar, and they're being way better than me. It's that constant checking of the ego. I think that helps you with being humble and being grateful, and always remembering that you always have somewhere to go. Because if you feel like you're at the top of the mountain already, then you may as well just, be done. Like, what's the point? Like, I think the hunger to always want to be better, I think that's the easiest way to be grateful for something or want better, I think, but yeah.
So good.
And empathy for sure. Always be empathetic. If you can, best way to tell a story too, because you can tell a story from your point of view, but if that's the only point of view you can tell it from, you're in trouble because you have one story, you have one character, you have one voice. If you can step out of yourself for a second and see what that person's feeling or whatever else, extremely, extremely helpful.
So for those of us who went to Waipahu High School, empathy is putting yourself in other people's shoes.
Yeah. Yeah. Think about how Kalihi felt, you know?
Yeah.
Or like,
Yeah.
you don't get the good, yeah. When your O-line is always terrible, no matter what, because they're so small. It's just like small Japanese kids. The whole time, they just get run over all the time. Put yourself in their shoes. But yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many lessons to learn, but I think it's constantly learning, you know, as you go.
Where can people find you, follow you, see what you're up to?
Oh. I mean, you can post my email if you want on the thing if you want. I mean, anyone can reach out to me. I'm happy to chat with anybody.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, because I know how difficult it is. You know, it's like one person, you know, offers help, and I think it's life-changing. So I'm happy to help anybody or anyone.
That's what I love about so many of our people that went to LA. They're always like, reach out to me.
Yeah.
I love that so much. So
Yeah.
is it risinglink@dnd.com?
Yep, that's it. I haven't changed it since. That's my professional email too. Yeah. Level 14 elf at yeah.
Yeah. We're working on John's branding right now. His website will be released real soon. Just stand by.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's great. But yeah. Alpha 2 Fs. By the way, make sure. But,
what's your Instagram?
And to be sure it's ELF, not ALF.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very specific.
Another 90s reference.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Not Alf. But yeah, I mean, no, go seriously. Throw my email up there or whatever, and I'm happy to help anybody who's, you know, in need of it.
What's your Instagram?
I think it's just John Veles 99. I think. But yeah.
Yeah, we'll put that all in
99 for
the notes.
Graduated high school 99.
Nice.
Yeah. And for some reason it wasn't taken. Like John Veles is actually taken. So I'm like, okay, I'll just 99. But
Nice.
Stamp my age on there. But yeah.
John, it was great catching up, man. We gotta do this again.
So good to see you guys. Seriously.
If we're ever
so
in
good.
LA, I definitely want to hang out with you. And
Yeah.
if you're ever in Hawaii, we're gonna go on an Obake trail.
Yeah.
Looking for
Yes.
ghosts.
That's it.
I might have to come. I don't like that kind of stuff, but I might have to
You
come
can be in the middle.
both
Brent.
of you guys.
Brent and I will take
Yeah.
the end and you can be in the middle.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
go if that's the case. I'll go if that's the case.
Awesome. Guys.
Yeah. Thank you so much
So
for
good
doing
chatting
this.
with you guys.
Yeah,
Seriously.
so good
Cut
catching
out all
up.
the swear words. Cut out all the stuff that was repeaty. Cut it.
We never cut out anything.
We keep it real.
We keep it real, plus we lazy.
That's it. Release it right up. Just no edits. It's fine. That's great. But yeah, guys, so good chatting with you.
Yes, you too. Thank you so much. man.
Take care, guys.
Even though you're a writer now, you still gotta make sure you point your toes.
Yeah, for
Keep 'em
sure.
pointed.
Yeah. All right,
Right
guys.
on. All right.
Have a good
Thank
one.
you. You
Of course,
too.
Justin.